If you're planning to study in Canada, your study permit application is not just a formality or another hoop to jump through. It is a legal decision that can shape your future in Canada. Every year, thousands of international students are refused, not because they're ineligible, but because their application didn't make legal sense to an immigration officer. My name is Athena Portokalidis, and I am an immigration lawyer with Bellissimo Law Group PC, a Canadian immigration law firm. In this video, we're going to break down how study permit applications work, why refusals happen, and how to best prepare your application strategically. A study permit is a document issued by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC, and gives its holder permission to study in Canada. It is not a visa and does not give permanent status. There are often conditions associated with a study permit, including the school or institution at which you can study, the length of study, the level of study, and whether you can take employment on or off campus. Most importantly, it is a document that gives its holder temporary status in Canada, meaning it is not intended for the holder to stay in Canada permanently. While dual intent, or having two intentions at the same time, is legally permitted, for example, wanting to temporarily study and explore permanent resident options in the future, the essential element is that this must all be done legally and according to the immigration law. When reviewing study permit applications, officers assess risk. They ask, will this person leave Canada as required by the end of their studies? Does this study plan make sense? Is this person using studies as a backdoor to immigration, or are they a genuine student? Does this person have the financial means to study in Canada? To qualify for a study permit in Canada, an applicant needs, at minimum, a letter of acceptance from a designated learning institution, a provincial or territorial attestation letter, proof of identity, proof of sufficient funds, a credible study plan, and evidence of ties to their home country. Proof of funds is one of the most misunderstood requirements. IRCC is not only looking at meeting minimum amounts, meaning having sufficient funds to cover at least the first year of study. They are also assessing financial stability and realism. In other words, does the proposed study make sense? Not only considering the applicant's profile, but also financially. It is generally understood that international student fees are much higher than local student fees, and that's usually a consideration at the forefront of an immigration officer's mind. A study plan is where many refusals happen. While technically not a mandatory requirement, a letter of explanation or study plan is technically not a mandatory requirement, but it is highly recommended and can make or break an application. A study plan must explain why this program, why Canada, why now, and what happens after graduation. It is important to give compelling reasons for why Canada is the best and only choice for a program of study. A convincing study plan should explain why a program is not available elsewhere, and if it is, why the program offered in Canada is better. For mature students or students with an existing higher education in their background, an explanation may be required for why this additional program of study is necessary to meet their goals. Another significant factor to address in the study plan is what happens after graduation, how that program of study will help in achieving those goals, and the applicant's willingness and ability to return to their home country. Generic statements such as Canada has a good education system are not persuasive. Officers want to see logical progression and credibility. A thoughtful and well-prepared study plan is ideal. Your school and program of study can determine whether you qualify for a post-graduation work permit, or PGWP, which can lead to future permanent resident options such as express entry and the provincial nominee program. Short-sighted decisions here can permanently close doors and impact future plans. Thankfully, IRCC keeps a public list of designated learning institutions that are eligible for study permit issuance and offer post-graduation work permit eligible programs. It is essential to thoroughly research your options well in advance of applying for a study permit. At Bellissimo Law Group PC, we strive to go beyond only the bare minimum for study permit applications. We work with our clients to make sure they are not only checking off all boxes, but also putting their best foot forward. This is especially important given recent changes that IRCC has made to the study permit program and the overall impact on approval rates. We work with our clients to build legally defensible applications that align with their long-term goals. If you're planning to study in Canada and want to apply for a study permit, do it right the first time. Click subscribe for Canadian immigration updates Follow us on our social media platforms. And as always, you can contact us for support.